En serio, bro.
We are live in 3, 2, 1, and ladies and gentlemen, I just had my ass handed to me by by my co-host Edgar Moose Reels on episode number 10 officially.
Season finale.
Season finale. Let's go.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to you too. We made it.
We did make
We
it.
made it.
And so we just had basically an hour?
Did we?
30 minutes, 20
Yeah.
to 30 minutes,
Mhm.
having a long conversation about various different topics and specifically looking internally. And considering how valuable your time really is,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Considering about how valuable your time really is, and literally just putting the line on the sand.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently I don't have a line in the sand or my line on the sand is me effortlessly holding a twig and then passing through. And I quote.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we got to dig deeper.
Yeah. I think that I already said this off air, but I think that it's very easy to lose sight of the gravity of a situation when somebody else is completely handling it for you.
Yeah.
100%. And when it's handled for you, you kind of lose, like I said, you lose sight of what's really at stake. And I've witnessed it happen time and time. But I wanna even bring it back a little even higher up in the air, in bird's eye view. This speaks on people not being able to quantify or rationalize their value as an individual. And I'm not saying, because we were talking about you, I'm not
Correct.
saying you don't know your value, because to a certain extent you do.
Mm-hmm.
But in the process, this is where I meant earlier when I said you care about people and you're good at your job.
Correct. Which is hard to find.
Right. Which makes you really good. It's a blessing and a curse.
Mm-hmm.
Every good has its bad.
Correct.
And unfortunately, that's where your bad is. Drawing that line in the sand on what you are willing and able and capable of doing. Like I said, the lines were always blurred. And I think I will go as far as to say that you got taken advantage of.
For sure. Multiple times.
In a lot of the deals that you have been.
100%.
And for context, everyone listening, because I know we just kind of jumped into this conversation. Joel is a real estate agent, property manager, borderline a life coach. He's a therapist. He is all unofficially.
Exactly.
All unofficially. Joel works with a lot. He works a lot with the Hispanic Latino community in real estate. And with a lot of that, most of it is, being a new banker in this position that I'm in now, it's 95% educating.
Yeah.
And
essentially.
5% execution.
Yeah. That's about it.
So what you're doing is you're so good at your job that, or maybe you're not a good educator. I don't know. We could speak in details about it, because you've done the same thing over and over again for multiple people, right? Or for the same person. Sure. You've helped them with the same problem more than once.
Same person?
Yeah.
Maybe, but maybe the same problems with multiple people.
Okay. Yeah.
That would be just a different take.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, I think it speaks on a lot of people not being able to identify their value and or losing sight of their core value.
Yeah.
Individual.
No, and we were really discussing the fact that recently I had a client that purchased a property without really notifying me, and they don't have to notify me, right, to purchase a property. It is within their own right.
Mm-hmm.
But when they came up to me to manage the property, it was in a bad location, bad status, and there was just a lot, right?
He was just placing unrealistic expectations without seeking your prior to buying the property anyways.
Correct.
That's unprofessional.
And then wanted me automatically to manage the property. And so what he didn't realize.
Did he ask you, or did he just say, "Hey, Joel, you got this one too"?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. Like, I'm not sure exactly. He probably just told me, "Hey, I purchased this property.
Yeah.
I need you to go and manage."
That's how blurry that line is. We're talking.
That's
about.
crazy, right?
You need to be like, "Yo, and what am I doing here? I'm managing 3 other of your properties. Are we doing this or what?" I'm saying it in that verbiage because I know that's how Dominicans tend to speak to each other.
Yeah.
Hey, but ¿qué vamos a hacer? You know what I mean? So maybe even if it's in a playful tone, that line needs to be drawn, bro.
Yeah.
For real. And it's just gonna keep happening. You're gonna keep.
It is gonna
the
keep
same
happening.
mistake.
Yeah, for sure.
If you don't adjust it.
That's crazy. I just gotta go legal, basically.
Yeah.
Like, look.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
On paper, bro.
Exactly.
Put it all on paper. Fuck it. That's why I said put on a suit, put on a tie.
Yeah.
They tend to take you a lot more serious.
No, for sure.
And it's the temperature is different when you walk in a room and you have a suit on.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking with months ago. I was talking with Gilroy. He asked me for some input on these YouTube videos that he's making. He's cooking up. He's got a decent following now. The thirst for education on financial literacy is there. It's just a matter of who mends and bends with you to latch on to the kind of content you're putting out there. And I shared this with him, and I told him, I said, hey, I don't go to Gilroy for fashion advice. I go to Gilroy to learn about banking. What do bankers wear? It's child's play, honestly speaking. But the reality of the situation is bankers wear suits. Why are you wearing a Jordan t-shirt trying to teach me how to save money? I get it. You want to appeal maybe to a younger audience or something along those lines. But people who will listen are not going to look at the kind of shirt you're wearing. The thirst for knowledge is what you want to appeal to other people with.
Yeah.
Not the fact that you're fashionable and you can wear a nice shirt with some ripped jeans and some bread 11s. That's not you want to present yourself a certain way because that's just the reality of it, bro. And even ignorantly speaking, us Spanish people, who are we going to take advice from? The guy wearing jeans, a t-shirt, and some Jordans, or a guy in a suit? There's outliers, right?
The question answers itself.
There's outliers within everything.
For sure.
But the likelihood is you're going to listen to the guy with the suit more.
Yeah. 100%.
Right? And so ever since then, he's been wearing suits in his videos. Yeah, bro. Yeah.
That's interesting, man. That whole market of education, and it's so important, actually. Just the vast majority of people that just simply don't know anything,
right?
In general, right? For example,
Yeah.
I was talking to Samantha in regards to her posting some videos online, and we were discussing the we were discussing the copyright strikes that you could get on YouTube, for example, because her path is through music.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, it is.
And so that has its own, perspectives and rules and regulations, et cetera, which you have to be educated with.
Yeah.
And so I was telling her, I'm like, babe, what you have to do is you have to research. This is your research period, right? You have to go into YouTube and look up rules and regulations of YouTube, for example. Not just simply look at, a famous person who has X amount of videos, et cetera, look at their bio, et cetera. No, you're going into a platform that requires you to
play ball.
Exactly. And so now she's in that journey.
Right? She's YouTube everything, yeah.
And so, but insanely, YouTube is the modern algorithm for knowledge.
It is.
To an extent.
Bucci, if you're listening to this, do not worry about copyright strikes when you have less than 1,000 subscribers.
That's what I was telling her.
You can shamelessly make any dance video, any reaction video you want. Nobody cares about you in YouTube unless you start making money.
Correct.
And we're not there yet. So
exactly.
what are we going to... There's nothing for us. You got nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose, literally.
If Kanye West decides to go out of his way to demonetize your video and to mute your video, that's something you got to be willing to take on the chin and maybe make the choreography apply to a different song. Correct. Re-upload it another day. Cool. But you gotta be. We could talk about this in person.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Babe. Babe, we got you an appointment with a banker
in Canastota. Just fill up.
But yeah, that's I mean, the thirst for knowledge is within me, really. My first tattoo is currently there's still a lot that I don't know.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. The most factual statement that I could ever make would be that one. We can argue about whether the earth is round or not round.
Yeah.
But there's one thing I know for sure. Yo, I think there was actually a philosopher that said that.
Well,
I'm not 100% sure who it was. Plato or Socrates, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
That said, if there's one thing that I know is that I'm gonna chop it.
Yeah.
But something along the lines, if there's one thing that I know is that I don't know everything, for example.
Oh, I know what quote you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I heard it in Criminal Minds.
Okay.
I forgot who.
Yeah. Well, for our fans, please put it in the comments.
Yeah, let us know.
But yo, one of the things that I wanted to discuss with you, and now that we're deep into the conversation now,
mm-hmm.
Is that text message I sent you from the other day.
That's right. Yeah, I saw him screenshot this.
So we let me give you guys a backstory while he finds it. Okay, so I'm at the gym, right? And going into the gym, I start thinking about some friends of mine that want to get out of the matrix, right? Or, so the word matrix, for example, ironically, in my C class where I'm learning to code, they're teaching me how to create matrices, like a matrix,
that's
right?
Cool.
As a within a code, which is insane, right? So maybe that word was already ringing in my brain by that time.
Be, yeah.
But listen to this, bro. So I'm at the gym. I start on the treadmill, right? And I lock in. Like when it's like my sight goes to one place, and ironically, it's the boxing. There's like one red dot.
Across, yeah.
Yes, one red dot that goes straight to it. So I'm just running, couple miles, and then I start thinking about this whole thing, the Matrix, right? And I'm like, yo, isn't it insane? Like, people want to get out of the Matrix, but you're in the Matrix. You're actually part of the Matrix, right? Your entire existence is the Matrix, right? And then I went deeper than that, like, and I started thinking, like a physicist, right? And I was like, yo, what is the Matrix? If you were to define the Matrix, it would be literally the entire universe,
right?
That is the Matrix. There's no other thing, right? Yeah. So then I go a little bit deeper into it. So if the universe is the Matrix and we are part of its universe, we are part of the Matrix itself. There's no getting out of it because you can't get out of the universe,
right?
In the entire essence.
Yeah, you might not like my take on this.
Go ahead.
My take on this is simply that, bro, there's always gonna be a bone to chase, and I think that some bones are not necessarily worth chasing.
Okay.
And I think that is one of them. I think you can very easily get lost in the idea of trying to become fulfilled.
Okay.
Trying to escape the Matrix. Trying to... Because all these things, in hindsight, equal up to one big nothing burger of nothing, bro.
Basically.
And
it's all theoretical.
It's exactly. And it's like, I just think that it's not worth a ponder.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's not worth going down that rabbit hole, because nothing comes with it, other than the conclusion that if you haven't already
discovered this idea,
your life doesn't actually really 100% matter. And I know that sounds very morbid, but the truth is that we're specks where all we have is these little moments in time that we have. And we're grateful that you guys are listening to this podcast right now, because you're never gonna get this hour back. But I just think that is not. I'm okay in the Matrix.
Yeah,
I'm okay.
That's literally what
That's
literally what I thought.
I'm
right?
gonna enjoy my workout.
Exactly.
And I'm gonna punch this bag.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's definitely a thought perspective, right?
Yeah, and I don't support it, bro. No lo soporto.
Yeah.
Because why think about it, bro? For what comes from that? And I'm not saying that to bash it or to like completely dismiss it so we can move on. But genuinely, there's so many things in life that are just not worth your ponder, because you're playing catch up on so many other things. Like, and I just think that there are other more immediate things that deserve your thoughts.
For sure.
Yeah, don't lose yourself in that ideology of escaping a matrix, because like you said, they themselves are in them. Even the ones that say they escaped it, they're still on.
They still on the matrix. So
within reason.
Watch this, right?
Unless we say the matrix is this room, and you and I walk out of this room, then we've escaped the matrix. But when you establish the matrix the way they kind of establish it, bro, there's no way around it.
Correct.
Like there's just you're using the matrix to get out of the matrix, to enter another matrix, to I'm trying to buy a house. Like, I'm not trying to worry about escaping no
so
matrix.
I'm glad you brought up the whole idea of people, for example, buying the house. So I went deep into this rabbit hole. I would only text you that if I came into some insane conclusion. So watch this. Even if you wanted to buy a piece of lot where you can have a cabin for yourself, you still have to pay taxes on it.
Yeah. There is no escaping the fabric of our society. Our reality is our reality. The people who say things like that often make me feel like they are trying to deny the same reality that puts you and me in this room together. The same reality that made that sweater, that's put those fibers and cottons together to make it so that way you can wear it. It's like we are a byproduct of the time we live in.
Exactly.
I'm sorry you don't live in caveman times where you can just walk up to a plot of land and claim it as yours. And it's like, it just doesn't make sense to me. That's why I just like, all right, if you really want to talk about it, what's the matrix, right? Okay, no, yes or no, it's escapable. Cool, move on, next subject. Because I will much rather think about things that make me happy or bring me some form of contentment. Because
so I'm so glad you brought the idea of thinking happy and brought contentment. Watch this. So let's go back. Now let's talk. We've gotten rid of the fact that you can't escape it, right? Let's not even argue that. All right. Have you ever heard of LIGO? It's a machine. I think they have one in Switzerland or different locations. They have them in 2 different locations in the world. They're long laser beams that go across miles, right? 2 laser beams. They interact on a 90-degree angle to one location, right? They have them at different locations. And the entire purpose of this is that they're able to detect if there's a wavelength. They're lasers, right? They only go one directions, and they're so powerful that for them to move, it's impossible. Like, that's the purpose of it, right? So they detected a movement once of our reality that we perceive on a 3-dimensional lens bended, right? Because these laser beams bended at one point. Fact. This is a fact. Yes, they won a Nobel Prize for this. And the cause of it were 2 black holes that collided against each other in some period of time. And the power of it was so, it literally bended
Reality.
the fabrics of reality itself. And this is a fact, which is insane. So this collision of black holes waved our reality at some point, and it continued to travel throughout the rest of the universe, because it's a wave,
Yeah.
right? And it just goes out. If you're in the way, you're in the way.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so because that fact is true, and we can perceive gravity, for example, et cetera, then you have the human thought, right? Goes back to what you were saying, the power of thinking, it's specifically. And I wondered, bro, I'm still in the treadmill thinking these things.
It's a long run. Dale.
And I'm thinking, wait a minute, is it possible for then our thoughts to bend our reality in some way or another?
We spoke about this last episode.
And what was the answer?
Yes.
So
They
how
create these false senses of reality for themselves in their own little bubbles.
So can we actively change our reality?
Yes.
To an extent.
Within reason. I can't change my skin color.
Right. The laws of physics must apply.
Yes. That's a perfect quote, yes.
Right.
We are all at mercy to the laws of physics.
But then what about the rest? What can we change?
Everything that doesn't... Well, I would say physics is just the underlying rubric, right? So like when I remember when we were solving like math problems in algebra, how they give you a rule set. Square means 2. So if you do square plus triangle, that means 4. It's 6 in total. So think of that like that. Physics,
Mathematics
is what we are at mercy to.
Yeah.
Right? That's the rubric that explains what our numbers and everything is.
And then
because
can also explain our reality itself.
Yeah.
Within the physical world.
Yeah, well, I'm saying that we can't change the rubric.
Yep.
We can't change what the square means, what the triangle means.
We can only discover it.
We could only discover it. That's why they also say things like matter cannot be created or destroyed. Right. It can only be, it just is.
Yeah.
Pero, yeah, so don't think of those as like two things that are hand in hand, because they're not. The definition of the word is the definition of the word. What we can change is how we say the word. Right? So like a girl can say, hey, bitch, or they could be like, hey, bitch. You know what I mean? That immediately changes. The rule to the word is still there. It's still, your bitch is a bitch, right? But it's like, you understand what I'm trying? What
yeah,
I'm
no,
100%. So
100%.
it's like, yeah, sure, we can change. I don't want to say perceived realities, because that kind of in a way falsifies the word reality and kind of dismisses it as true, because it's not the case. But yeah, I'm losing myself.
No, for sure. At the only thing that I found that we can change is anything that men potentially can create or creates themselves through their thoughts, right? So, for example, we were talking about some of the underlying perspective of our reality. For example, the light bulb. It's a great example. It was a thought first, right? It was a conception in someone's brain first, and then became created. It became part of our reality, right? And so the only thing that us as humans can seem to be able to change is whatever we can create, right?
But that's also true to a certain extent, because we also realized that we are 3-dimensional. Now that we've discovered it and put it out into the world, we can't change that.
True. Right. I mean, what's a fact is a fact.
Right.
Let's put the physical, the 3-dimensional and the physics behind human creation.
Okay.
Government. insurance,
Mm-hmm.
products, markets,
Mm-hmm.
right? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things humans have created: trade,
Yeah.
sailing, space
Okay,
travel.
then yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Then yes. Those things can be altered.
Exactly. Those are the only things that can be altered, but they can only seem to be altered through thought, right?
Yeah.
And so that's really our power in this matrix, to be able to change our reality in many different ways,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I mean, it boils down to all arguments in general. Everything starts with thought. The reason why we have ads and stuff is to sway thought. The reason why we have anything really is to persuade or feed thought, emotion.
Isn't that insane?
That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is crazy. It is. That's why we teach the way we teach. That's why we speak the way we speak. That's why we trade the way we trade. Yeah, it's fascinating.
But anyways, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
read the text that I put.
Okay, the text.
Yes.
The text goes. I had it. It's right here. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I was thinking about people who want to be off the matrix, as far as governmental, for example. Then I thought, you can't get away from the matrix, as you are a part of the matrix. All God's creations, and in essence, human creation, is a part of the matrix. And I said, stop talking. That's our starter for Saturday. I'm going to screenshot this. And then that's what,
And so that's really what I came down to it. Like, that the mere fact that God created, or the matrix created, whatever, created man,
Mm-hmm.
and then man in essence is part of this matrix that also God created. And but the only thing that God still allowed us to do was still to be able to create and change and, I guess, evolve
Yeah.
in that aspect. And but yeah,
Yeah.
that was
That I'm happy you had this, like, I don't want to say realization, because I feel like you've identified this before in your life, but I'm happy that the windshield got clear during this run, and you were able to really concrete that.
Yeah, like put it into a sentence,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like in a paragraph.
Right. No, but it sounded like a whole train ride of thoughts.
Yes.
Not just like one sentence. Oh, the sky is blue. No, you kind of was like, nah, but wait, let me get out.
Yeah.
Nah, wait, what is even out? What is even out?
Right.
Like,
Right.
So,
No.
But yeah, I had, and the reason, I remember, we all speak from kind of like our internal biases, and mine, and I'm sorry that mine always kind of like come to this, but that's just my reality. My moment where I realized that I had kind of like, I had to do something, well, so my reality was in question, was I was having like a disgustingly terrible day. I was having like pain. I was hungry. I was by myself. I was crying in public. Nobody stopped. And it was so interesting, because I was about 14 in Central Park. I had a book that I pretend to read that I never read. And I would cry, bro, in public, right? And this is, fuck it, bro.
Yeah.
I'm so far out. It's okay. That's so far. But I remember thinking to myself, like, yo, this, like, nobody's going to help me, bro.
No one.
Nobody's going to help me. And I thought to myself, I'm like crying for me was like the all time. You don't cry. You don't cry unless you're dying, right? Like, that was like, I know that sounds dramatic, but it's like, it's a signal almost. Yeah, like, it's an internal thing that we sometimes can't control, but crying in our society today and then is a signal to people. It should serve as a beacon to people that when they see it, there's something's happening. And I realized that there were people walking by me, and like, and not to make it like all gloomy and shit, but I remember seeing this guy peacefully walking his dog. And it was like a TV show, dog. This guy was a TV show guy. Like, he, in my head, that's the way it was processed. Like, he looked like somebody out of a TV show, a sitcom. He was like a well-groomed man with a beard, 5 o'clock shadow. You could tell was like recently shaved, like well-groomed. He had the golden retriever and everything, like with a sweater on. Like, so it's like, yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like, but like, I remember him walking past me, and when he walked past me, that blew mine completely. I was like, yo, this is like, that's it. Nobody's gonna help me. Like, nobody. I need to get up. I need to get up and I need to go home, because nobody's gonna help me get home. And
wow,
I didn't think these things in the moment, but being this far out and through all I do is ruminate, right, within reason. I realized that my reality has been brought into question so many times that that concept of escaping a matrix. Nah, I've been in this game so disgustingly long that maybe I'm just clouded by it, and I think that all there is a game. Andrew Tate, please correct us if we're wrong, and if there is a matrix that is escapable, put me on the game, bro, because you must have a key to life or some unwoken knowledge that has not been discovered by Neil deGrasse Tyson yet. Because I think that I knew that immediately. It was silly to even think about, bro. It was silly. It's like, why am I even... Nobody's going to help, bro. Nobody's going to fucking help. This guy's got his dog to worry about. You know what I mean? I learned in that moment that life is so big, bro. Mm-hmm. It's so big. And
yeah.
And it's like, you really got to push through shit, bro.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. I don't even know why this story brought that memory into my head. But I remember very early on that was one of the few times that my reality was like digging into me. And like really showed me that 2 + 2 is 4.
Yeah.
And that if I don't have the 2, it will never equal 2.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, if anything's gonna happen, there needs to be some form of action.
Yes.
If I'm gonna feel better, I have to stand up.
Literally.
You know?
How did you get there?
I took the bus.
Okay.
I mean the train. Yeah, it was one train.
Did you have to be at home at any specific time?
No. Well, I did, but nobody cared. Nobody.
Gotcha.
Nah, I could go home whatever time I got home.
14?
Yeah,
high school.
Freshman year, high school. Yeah. Yeah, and there's been plenty of situations where it's kind of like, yo, like nobody. I'm thinking there's a camera on me, right? Because it's like, yo, and like we were talking about tattoos. My tattoo says "Ancora imparo," and still I learn. And a lot of people always like, oh, that's like, but the reality of it, the reason why I got that tattoo, did I ever share that with you?
Share it with our audience.
So the reason why I got that tattoo, the rest of the quote is, and still I learn things can get worse. Because I was having what I thought was the worst day of my life. And I really thought that this was it. It could not get any worse, bro. And right when I came to that conclusion, I felt like a weight lifted off my shoulders. I'm like, bro, it's not going to get worse than this. I'm good, man. Like, I'm crying, but it's like, I'm alive. I got balls. I got heart. I have hair. You know what I mean? And then guess what? It got worse.
Yeah.
It got worse. It got worse. The roof was gone now. I was having a bad day. My stomach was hurting like crazy. This is pre-diagnosis. My stomach was hurting like crazy. Family problems. Everything, bro. Now the roof is gone. You know what I mean? Like,
it got worse.
It got worse, bro.
Yeah.
And I was like, I looked around like, no way, bro.
Yeah.
Like, no way this happens now. You know? And that's why when I got this tattoo, it almost didn't even really hurt, because I was like, I survived through all that pain.
Yeah.
This little pinch is like,
come on, bro.
Well, this is all you got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, bro. Yeah, that was a lot. Let's talk. Let's chat.
No, that's
I'm ruminating now. I think I'm using that word correctly.
No, that's good, bro. We're in our space.
Yeah.
No, I mean things can always be worse.
Yeah, they can always be better too.
It can always be better too. But just to conclude on this whole idea with the Matrix and just human psyche in general, it's just it's the only thing possible that, because the only thing that we seem to be able to be in control of, it's really ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? That's as far as you go. Yes, you can gather a group of people who might think the same way as you, but you'll never be able to gather the entire human population to probably do one thing.
Yeah.
And so the only thing that you can create, the only thing that you can really control is really just your life, your own reality as a, where do I sleep at night? Where do I work? What can I create? Where am, like, these different things. The laws of physics have already been established. You just can't change your gender. It's just pure physics. Your psychology is where your thoughts come in. And so what can you do, right? If you were to sit there and wake up, right? And this always reminds me of this motivational speaker. Some gentleman, no legs, no arms, no legs. This dude's got a wife, motivational speaker. You see him like moving around in the stage. Pretty famous. That dude created that reality, bro.
Yeah.
He woke up one day. I mean, he was birthed like everyone else. And eventually he realized that, like, yo, this is my life.
Yeah.
Like, I got no arms. I got no legs.
Now what?
Right? What can I do? That, my friend, is the only thing that you can do. Change your own perspective to change your own reality. And that is the only power that we seem to have.
Yeah. And I think that it's also important for people to know in general that the only way to really come to those realizations and these conclusions, if you will, is through reflecting.
Correct.
And through comparison. I know that a lot of that might sound like a red flag, but I think that comparison within reason, it could be beneficial if done correctly.
I agree.
I don't think comparing yourself to somebody else who's sitting in shit next to you is necessarily. But if you need to cling, like, look at somebody and cling on to them a bit, and compare yourself to them to set a different kind of bar for yourself because you're too incapable of coming up with a bar that's a bit better than yours because of your lack of knowledge. I think it'd be beneficial. I'm saying this because I'm projecting, like always.
For sure.
I remember when I thought I was really cool, and in my head I was cool, and my brother telling me I'm not cool wasn't the dictator of that. I was. So I was cooler than him. Realistically, Antonio, you were always cooler than me. But in general, it was like, I'm cool. And I remember it wasn't until I met one of my teachers. His name is Mr. Dinowitz. He taught me how to tie this knot. Where I thought to myself, I had lunch with him. He let me sit in his classroom, and he was able to play 3 different instruments in front of me. And I thought that was the cool. I don't know why in my head, I just thought that was the coolest shit ever, you know? And he was the bar for me for a little bit because I genuinely did not know any better. And Dinowitz is a great bar, a great standard of a man, of a character in general to have. But I want to put more emphasis on being able to just look around and like almost shamelessly compare.
Yes, I agree.
Just say, hey.
So, to your point, me, for example, where I work at, unfortunately, I get to see a lot of homeless people, right? Where we have to shelter them. Not shelter them, but we have to. I run a 238 apartment building right now, but because it's considered like HUD, they have a lot of grants that it allows them to shelter individuals who are homeless, right? Or to an extent, right?
Right.
You have to have some type of income.
Mm-hmm.
So in the past couple months, I have been able to see a whole different world of just like people with dealing with like domestic violence, abuse, regular people, bro, regular people that just one bad turn, one loss.
Mm-hmm.
For example, some people from Rome, they were saying they had a hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Wiped them out
completely,
right? Like now you're in like a tent.
Yeah, bro.
Like this is, and you know, when I speak about reality, like this is a person who's sitting in front of me, who's telling me these things.
Yeah.
Right. And that has brought a different perspective of just like appreciation, first of all.
Good. Yeah.
Just complete appreciation of just like everything that I have. And you know, when recently for Thanksgiving, our coworkers, they were like, "Yo, what are you guys thankful for?" I was like, "Yo, I'm just glad I'm not homeless, man."
Mm-hmm.
And I've shared this with you, right?
Yeah.
That this is like a massive fear that I used to have, and now that like I'm so exposed to it.
Yeah, we've spoken about this.
Like,
before.
yeah, but it's pretty wild out there, bro. That's, you know, and it's societal.
Yeah,
it's everywhere,
and it speaks on people not paying enough, or sometimes they even do everything right, and that's the sucky part about life, is that you can do everything correct, everything in the most virtuous way possible, and sometimes, you know, things just still happen to you, and it's all a matter of probability and coincidence, and maybe divine intervention. We're not here to confirm nor deny any of those things, but the reality is that they happen. And I think that I'm so happy to hear that you recently, because I think that reminders like that are very, very important for people like you and I, who are starting to see different lights in this tunnel that we've been in for so long. And I think it really speaks on people's foundations, both psychologically, character-wise. I think that every attribute in our psyche has a foundation. It's not just one. And I think that the foundation, somebody's character can be very weak, but the foundation of their finances are very strong. I think that there's kind of like different percentages and tiers to every
to every attribute
I could see that. A human has.
That would be very interesting.
And no, it just is that. And I just think that it's important to kind of like reflect on these things and really truly identify them. We speak about it a lot in banking, emergency funds. Hopefully you will never need them, but some people, that's such a far-fetched idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even for me personally, like, I was just, even where I'm at right now, the idea of an emergency fund is so far-fetched. I'm in the negative. I gotta pay shit first, and then I could maybe. But yeah, I just think that we should shed some light on that foundation aspect of things.
That's an interesting perspective for sure. It's like gamifying it.
What does that mean?
Like, think as if life were a game. This was a perspective that I heard on YouTube. He was like, consider yourself a player one in this game. Have you ever played? This is a great topic. Have you ever played games or video games where you're building like Civ, or I think Sims is one of those.
Sims is one of them.
Yeah. Like you build communities, civilization,
etc.
etc. In Sims, I've never played Sims before. I heard it's a great game. But I played one recently. It was just like wars and stuff like that. Build an entire perspective in my brain, right? Where I was like, yo, let's just say in move 520. Right, you've already established societies, markets, etc. In Sims, can you create new players? Okay, imagine you're that new player, right? And that is you and I, right? And you're a new player, and then you start looking around. You're like, wait, what? This whole thing exists? There's an entire history of everything that's around me.
Yeah.
You guys have been playing for 520
Yeah.
moves already, but in our case, it's what? Couple million years,
Yeah.
right? To get to this point,
Yeah.
right? And so, but you can't deny that we're all new players. You can't deny that.
Yeah.
The person that's born in China, Russia, Dominican Republic, etc., Selma is a new player.
Yeah.
Right? And she's coming into society and looking around and thinking, yo, wait, what?
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? That game blew my mind.
Mind blown.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's why I always say things like, your parents deserve grace too.
Yeah.
And people in general, I feel like, are always within reason, right?
Yeah.
Always deserving of a certain level of grace because it's their first time living life too. It's not like they gotta take two.
Yeah, that's true.
On living, and yeah, within reason, people should be held. People need to be and should be held accountable for things in general, but also on maybe an emotional level or psychological level. Maybe I don't know how to put it. They are deserving because it is their very first time living life. Also,
that's true. That's a factual statement. You know, I was re-listening to our podcast, which again, podcast number 10.
Yes.
Like this has already been an insane podcast already, right? But I was re-listening to the entire thing, and I got to the one where Selma is in my hands.
Oh yeah.
Right? And she falls asleep on my hands, bro, because we were trying to put her to sleep over there. You was like, no, just carry her to see.
Just hold her.
And we were talking mad quiet.
Yeah, I remember that shit.
That's like episode 2 or 3, one of those.
Yeah.
And then you said something, bro. I love going back, bro. This is why we started this.
Yeah. To
be able to go back and listen. Bro, I listened to those conversations. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. No way. You know what I'm saying? Because like, yo, we're speaking facts, you know. But you said, right now, you are her God, in regards to Selma.
Yeah. Right.
And I was thinking about that. I was like, yo, that's pretty insane. First of all, but it's a reality because we created her. Right? She's part of our reality now because of us.
She doesn't know any better.
She doesn't know any better, right? And the Bible states that I'm forgetting the phrase right now, but it's like honor your mother and your father so you may have long life. Right? Honor your mother and your father so that you may have long life.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. And then I started like reflecting on the conversation that we had. But I was thinking, yo, our parents at one point or another were truly our gods.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
a lot of them unknowingly.
Yeah. But they, to an extent, deserve, like you mentioned, a sense of grace.
Yeah. It is their first time living life too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the same grace that you want to give yourself, the same grace that you give yourself that allows you to consider yourself a victim is the same grace that you should give the parents that you're holding this accountable for.
For sure.
And if we're going to be mad at them for not getting something right the first time, you're an idiot. If you're going to be mad at them for not getting it right the third, the fourth time, I could say your argument has merit.
Yeah, I've always said that the best thing that you can do is the same amount of time that you're avoiding the person, if you invested that same amount of time into getting into the conversation with the person, you would have a different relationship overall. Plain and simple. I know that hits home. Trust me. I've realized that a long time ago.
But a lot of the time, people run into these kind of friction with these kind of things because they have undeveloped emotions and thought processes towards it also.
For sure.
Like, le duele a pensarlo. Like, it hurts to think about these things. So it's easier to just be mad and punch away at it and just, like, look the other way. Or it's easier to get irrationally angry about it and just let your fist do talking. Or let your brain get the best of you. I think that one of the characteristics that I would like to instill in my children, and I'm working on, and I'm realizing this now with my nieces and nephews and my sisters and my life in general, and even working at the bank, through, like, I want to have my kids so confident in their ability to conduct themselves that they never feel the need to lash out because of the absence of words. I want him to be able to dictate a message to you that hurts just as bad as punching you in the face, or in his brain it'll do the trick. Because a lot of the times these kids or younger people end up crying mid-sentences or getting irrationally upset and throwing things. Or even adults at the bank, bro, they almost lose the ability to conduct themselves, one, because of frustration, but that frustration bleeds into almost sometimes physical anger because of their inability to conduct themselves. You can't think of words to put in a sentence to make me feel what you're feeling right now. Yeah. So you want to punch a wall? Yeah. Like, please, bro, come on. And I think that is something I'm gonna drill into my kids early on, and the power of their words is gonna be something they're held accountable to from a very early on. That's a good point. Yeah, because it's like, isn't it? You can almost see it when you're looking at somebody in their eyes and they're angry.
They start crying.
Yeah. They don't even want to talk no more. They just want to hit something. You know,
when as soon as you start crying, that's when I start laughing. Especially we're having an argument. I have that problem.
Yeah. I'm not perfect. Trust me. I've fallen victim to this.
For sure.
But I'm aware of it. I go, I can't talk about that shit right now, bro. I need a second. It's working me up because it's making me feel like it's bringing me back to this time, and I can't. I'm like getting angry. Yeah. And that's how I conduct myself now. I don't, for what? Punch a wall for what?
Hell like, no, bro.
Walls hit back, bro.
You know what's so funny? Physics, I have a scar, and this happened. This is crazy. This happened on December 18th, 2009, at our high school. This scar right here. It was the last day before we had to head out for a Christmas vacation. And it was the last class. It was Spanish class.
Miss Cologne?
Miss Cologne. Yeah. And I'm getting out. The bell has rung, bro. I'm leaving. Right? I'm getting out. And some girl hits me in the face with the in the door, and I reacted, and I was like, "Yo, you just hit me in the face with the door." And then she started arguing with me, and then I went blank. Right? I remember arguing with her at that point, and I just wanted to punch something. So I turned around and I punched the glass. And my whole knuckle is now bleeding, bro. Yeah. My shit got huge. It got like
instantly
swollen. Yeah. It was.
Yeah, for sure.
It was the worst experience. Like, it was horrible.
I bet. Yeah.
Ironically, I might as well tell the story, right? I'll tell you how the whole day ended. I go to the nurse's office, patch me up. Now I gotta go to the ER. Yeah. My mom is like, "You're an idiot." Right? My father says, "Who won, you or the wall or the glass?" Right? Yeah. I go to the ER, and you want to know what's funny? This was the day that changed my perspective from being an atheist to a believer. This very day. I go to the ER. We're in the ER with my entire family. Omar, my mom, Joanne is with me. He's a witness of everything that will conspire. We there's a woman that stands up and she goes to the front and she says, hey, listen, my son is autistic. I need help, right? And then he gets up, the son, and he starts punching himself. Bah, 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 bah. This was in the Bronx in what? Mount Sinai, whatever they.
Okay.
He starts punching himself.
Sinai's in Manhattan.
Whatever, somewhere in the Bronx, upstate, whatever, 4-line.
4-line?
4-line.
Oh, that's Bronx, Lebanon.
There you go.
Is the green shit?
Yeah,
green logo?
that one.
Yeah, Bronx, Lebanon. It's called Bronx Care now.
So this kid now runs out of the ER.
Oh shit.
He runs out of the ER, and then me and Joanne look at each other and we're like, yo, we should go get him. Right? So we leave. We start chasing after this kid. We go upstairs.
You with a bloody hand?
With me with a blood. It was already wrapped up by then, but yeah, basically. We go upstairs, like up to the street, and we start asking people like, yo, where did the kid go? And they're like, oh, he went that way. Bro, we start chasing this kid down the block, right? Couple blocks down, 2-3 blocks. He gets on the bus. This is a mentally disabled kid. He gets on the bus, and we get on the bus. And I tell the bus driver, I'm like, hey, sir, this kid, he has some issues. He just came out of the ER. Now he's punching, like, the metal in the bus. And the dude was like, either you get in or you get out.
Oh, nah.
And I was like, well, I'm going to have to get out. So I get out. The bus leaves.
The kid's still on it?
It's still in the bus. And me and Joanne are now walking back to the hospital. A car pulls up, and they're like, yo, where did he go? I'm like, yo, he just took that bus. Go get him. They go after him. And I go back to the hospital. And after that, I didn't hear back from them. Then, in the middle of the night, maybe 4 a.m., you know how these fucking hospitals are. You get there at 6, you get out at 4.
Yeah.
4 a.m., the mother comes in, and she's like, yo, we found him. And, yo, bro, like, I'm, like, getting emotional just thinking about it. They're like, yo, we found him. It was like, what? How did... And he says that when he took the bus left, and then on the next stop, an angel walked in, grabbed him by the hand, and showed him where to go. She said that shit to me. And they found him. I think they found him at, like, his house or something. Like, he doesn't know where to go. But he literally took the bus and just left.
Wow.
Some random bus. And he ends up finding his way back home. And when she says that to me, I was like, what? Like, at this point, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God. And when she said that shit to me, I was like, yo, there might be something else.
Did you get their email?
No, never heard from them again.
The angel.
never heard from them again. But yeah, man, that was the story.
Wow.
It was that moment that made me question. Insane, right?
That's deep.
Yeah. I don't know if we want to dissect that or leave that for. We could end episode 10 with that.
We have 3 more minutes.
Yeah.
Actually, on our timer.
Nah, we should be good. But yeah, man, that was my story. And after that, bro, still got the fucking scar right here, bro.
That's powerful. I think that is one of the many things that I would concrete that I would say that separates a man from a boy and from a woman from a girl. What is the ability to conduct themselves in a manner that is receiving to anyone, not just one person, because it's important as a man and as a woman to be able to communicate to not just people I'm not saying you need to learn 3 different languages and learn sign language, but I'm saying like you need to be able to conduct yourself in a manner that is receivable to almost anybody you are talking to within reason.
Correct. Yeah, and receivable is actually the main topic specifically.
And it's because I know this a lot because of work in EMS. And even I'm able to use those skills in working at the bank now too. But I noticed that just the way I would approach a young Hispanic male is not the same way I would approach a middle-aged white woman. It's not a race thing. It is realistically, honestly speaking, a race thing, but it's more so a human thing, I think.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
you just have to treat everyone with respect, bro.
I agree with you. But that being said, I'm going to re-say that the ability to conduct yourself in a manner that is receivable to the person listening.
Yep.
And if it is not, you need to self-assess and identify that, hey, you know, I'm not the best person to really speak to this person. I think somebody else should speak to this person. Because just because you know for a fact somebody needs to hear something doesn't mean that you are the person that needs to say it.
That's true.
And
that's 100%.
It needs to be, I would like to concrete that as one of the many things that separates men from boys and women from girls, is that ability to conduct themselves. And I'm sure your dad has got his fair share of holes in walls.
For sure.
Nobody's perfect. But yeah, let's wrap this up. Let's conclude this. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Academy of Man podcast, season 1, episode 10. We are officially done. We apologize if this episode seemed a little bit jumpy. We did start it. Me and Joel, just the moment we had so much catching up to do off air that we kind of just realized we were wasting time sitting in front of each other chatting without documenting. But on my side, I just want to say I am extremely grateful for your ears and for your attention. This podcast has allowed me to reflect in a way that is not ruminating. It's allowed me to put thoughts and emotions out into words and into the air that force me to listen back to them and force people to hold me accountable. And I'm grateful. I'm so grateful, and I can't wait for season 2.
Yo, me too. To me, again, listening to this whole thing, having people come up to me and just be like, yo, like, I like what you guys are putting out, is what we do this, right? Yeah. I hope that, like I said, from the get-go, again, this is all a project that me and Edgar started. We're wrapping up. We started with episode 1, now we're at episode 10. We're wrapping up season 1, and we will be coming back soon enough with more content and more growth, bro.
Yeah, guys, season 2 is going to have video.
Yeah.
Season 2 is going to have audio and video. We're probably only going to have one angle for now, but as the channel grows and as we grow, so will the quality of this podcast. And yeah, thank you guys again so much for listening and being a part of this. For real.
We really appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the love, because there's mad love out there, bro.
Yeah, there is.
So thank you guys. We will see you guys soon. Peace.
That's a wrap.